Tutorials on the Terrace.
Hello, welcome back to Tutorials on the Terrace for British Literature. Remember that the mini research paper on your poet of choice is due tonight, Tuesday, by 10 p.m. So make sure you get that essay turned in. Now, for the rest of the school year, we're going to transition a little bit into a lighter unit, which is Shakespeare's The Tempest.
All right, so this is week 5 of our distance learning here, and as I said, we will begin The Tempest. But as I, again, said this not too long ago, make sure that you turn in those research papers to Google Classroom by tonight, Tuesday, May 12th at 10 p.m. So again, these little mini research papers, make sure you get those in tonight by 10 p.m. And as always, if you have questions or comments or you want to follow up on anything, I will be having WebEx office hours today at 2:30 p.m. I will upload the login information to the Google Classroom stream later today, so keep an eye open for that. So in terms of The Tempest, if you're wondering what kind of some main topics and themes are, something that Shakespeare is really interested in his final few plays, often known as the late romance plays of Shakespeare, transformation and redemption. And that's something we will see here in The Tempest. Can people and relationships improve? Can they change for the better? Can we redeem ourselves from past mistakes? So again, as romances, they're not going to be quite as funny as Shakespeare's comedies. They're not going to be nearly as tragic as maybe the tragedies we have read in the past. Also, master and servant. A lot of people, a lot of college classes explore The Tempest because of its kind of problems of power between some of the characters. We'll see that character Prospero sort of has these servants or maybe even slaves who are working for him, and the relationships are quite fascinating, and they make for good analysis. And yeah, we'll take a look at that as we go on. And also just kind of this topic, and this is why I like to end senior year with this play, of moving on. How do we say goodbye and learn to let go of what makes us comfortable? We'll see that a lot of the characters in this play, and even Shakespeare himself, are trying to let go and say goodbye. The Tempest is essentially Shakespeare's final play that he ever wrote, and it is his swan song, and he's kind of saying goodbye to the stage and to playwriting. So keep that in mind as you're reading it. Now, many of you might be wondering, well, what the heck is a tempest? Tempest is essentially a storm. And so we'll see that a storm takes place in Act 1, Scene 1 of this play. And I think the main idea here is that it takes a storm, it takes a dramatic uprooting of your life to bring about clarity, reconciliation, and some type of rediscovered purpose in your life. Now, this is something Shakespeare has definitely tackled in other plays, in a lot of his tragedies, but we'll see again how The Tempest is going to be much more uplifting by the end. So the opening scene is rather short and very simple here. Basically, we see that the King of Naples, someone named Alonso, and his royal entourage, including a bunch of dukes and other folks, including someone who's important named Antonio, they're on a ship in the Mediterranean at sea and are caught in a storm, in a tempest. While the lower class mariners and the crew, including the boatswain, are doing their best to sail through the storm, we see that the royal members, including the king and the duke, Antonio, that they are pointless. They have no skills. They cannot help at all, even though they're telling the mariners what to do. And of course, this only annoys the mariners more. And of course, by the end of Act 1, Scene 1, the boat does break down and everyone separates as they wash up on the shore of a mysterious island. So here's a kind of a famous painting of The Tempest, where we see the storm taking place. We'll find out who this woman is on the island later, but we see the shipwreck in the background. So it just so happens that actually before the quarantine took place, I invited a few actor friends of mine to get together and actually put together a reimagining of this scene, and I think we did a pretty good job. So take a look.
Bosun! Arr, here, master, what cheer? Good. Speak to the mariners. Thaw it yarly, or we run ourselves aground. Bestir, bestir. Hey, my hearts, cheerily, cheerily, my hearts, yar, yar. Take in the topsail, tend to the master's whistle, yar. Blow if thou burst thy wind till room enough. Yo, good bosun, have care. Where's the master? I pray now, keep below. Where's the master, bosun? Do you not hear him? You mar our labor, keep your cabins, you do assist the storm. Nay, good, be patient. When the sea is, hence, what cares these roars for the name of king? To cabin, silence, trouble us not. Good, yet remember whom thou hast aboard. None that I love more than myself, you stupid elitist.
Wow, that was phenomenal acting. So, anyways, we see that Act 1, Scene 1 take place. Act 1, Scene 2, though, we go immediately to the island, and we find out that there are actually some people who are living there. So just to warn you, Act 1, Scene 2 is very long, and I really don't expect you to read the entire scene. It has a lot of exposition. We just kind of find out a lot of information. So what takes place is basically a father talking to his daughter on the island. We meet someone named Prospero. Prospero is going to be the protagonist of the story, and he is a sorcerer on the island and actually caused the tempest. He caused the storm to bring the ship to his island. Prospero is also Antonio's brother. Remember, Antonio was on the ship. He was one of those bros in the bro tank in that video. And you see, we find out that Prospero was the rightful Duke of Milan. But Antonio usurped him, kicked out his brother, and exiled him to sea. He was actually just expecting him to basically drown. But Prospero and his daughter, Miranda, actually washed ashore to this island, and this happened 12 years ago. Miranda was just kind of a baby back then. She's supposed to be about 15 now. So all she has known is this island. She's never seen civilization. She's never actually even seen other humans before. Miranda, though, as we saw in that painting, she saw the storm and is very worried about the men on the shipwreck. So we get the sense that Miranda is a very caring person. But we get the sense also that Prospero has plans for his brother, Antonio, and all the other royal, I guess, enemies now, frenemies that he has once they come ashore. So the rest of the play, we're going to see Prospero basically get his revenge on these people who kind of wronged him years ago. Then later, as the scene continues, he tells Miranda this whole story about how they arrived to the island. Then he magically puts her to sleep and summons a spirit on the island named Ariel. So Ariel will be important. Ariel has been a servant to Prospero ever since he rescued him from a witch that used to live on the island named Sycorax. Sycorax is sadly dead now. I always felt like Sycorax would have been a really cool character in the play, but she has already died, and Prospero essentially saved Ariel from, this is going to sound weird, Sycorax put Ariel in a tree, and so Ariel was stuck there, and Prospero came and rescued him, and now Ariel is the spirit on the island who basically serves Prospero. And Prospero tells Ariel that if he helps him with his plan concerning all the people who just washed ashore, he will set Ariel free. And all that Ariel really wants is to be free, to be a free spirit. Anyways, the ever-obedient Ariel then runs off to find Ferdinand. Ferdinand is the king's son. Yes, Alonso's son. I get the sense Ferdinand is kind of, not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's good looking, and he, I guess, is, he's prince. He's going to be successful. And the plan is to lure him toward Miranda. I wonder what Prospero is thinking here. Maybe trying to be a wingman here for his own daughter. Then the scene continues, and we are introduced to the island monster named Caliban. Caliban's kind of a famous name. We see it in literature and in movies, ever since this play came out. Caliban is the son of that witch Sycorax, and Caliban's been on the island for as long as Prospero and Miranda have been. But it becomes very obvious that, unlike Ariel, Caliban greatly dislikes his master, Prospero, very much despises him. And we get some backstory. We learn that Caliban once tried to rape Miranda. He was stopped, but this is why Prospero essentially has enslaved him, and Prospero reminds Caliban to obey him in the coming days and then dismisses him. So we'll have to see what happens with Prospero's relationship with both his servant and his slave on the island. Then Prospero awakens Miranda as Ariel brings forth Prince Ferdinand. And we kind of get this really funny part of the scene where Ferdinand and Miranda fall in love at first sight. Of course, that's what happens when you're 15 years old. But of course, Prospero is very protective, and he wants to kind of test this good-looking bro first. And that's what takes us into the end of Act 1, Scene 2. So for the assignment, as I said, it is a really long scene, Act 1, Scene 2, and it's a lot of exposition. I recommend, I don't think you need to read all of it, but what I want you to do is just read through the part of the scene when Miranda first lays eyes on Ferdinand and they have an interaction with each other. I have attached the file of this part of the scene here on the Google Classroom. It is kind of a funny scene. Miranda's never seen a boy before. Ferdinand's wondering what the heck is going on now that he's on this island. And also, if you want better context, there's a lot of versions of The Tempest out there. My favorite one is the Globe's live, the theater version of the play. It is you can buy it online, but I did find a little video of it on the dark Google that that I am attaching here. And if you want to see this part of the scene, watch it from the 9-minute 50-second mark to the 16-minute mark. And you'll kind of get a good portrayal, I think, of this scene. So have fun reading and watching, and next week we'll come to Act 2 of The Tempest.